are glad once again to have your company tonight, coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali. And I bring you tonight's edition is Martina Abera. Now, the Rwanda Correctional Service has urged the 1,874 inmates provisionally released from the 14 correctional facilities across the country to maintain good conduct that will prevent them from returning to prison. The cabinet meeting held on Wednesday approved their release. The Nyarugenge Correctional Facility, Andrew Bariyo, had 40 days remaining on his sentence.
Very, very, very happy, to tell you the truth. You know, here, though it is no longer regarded as a prison, it is now a correction facility, whereby there is a lot of works that do help every inmate to change your style of, or your habits or your living, so that you are built inside psychologically for you to be able to understand that you are here for a cause, you are here for a purpose, for a reason, not complaining, not having grudges, that why am I here or no. First of all, you understand that you committed a crime. The other thing, you understand the impact of the crime you did to the society. The other thing is you also taught and helped to know that you are not cut off from the society. You should gain your liberty again, feel confident that you will sometime again go back to that society. So you should be all that ready for that, only happiness. Though I was remaining with 40 days, but even one day matters here, because when you are inside, sometimes between us, ourselves as inmates, one day is regarded as a month, because you are longing to join other people outside. To my family, cheers to my family. Whoever will see me belonging to my family, let it be my nuclear family, extended family, the society at large. I'm coming back, changed man. The ones that were still having a bad image about me, just know this is a changed Andrew who has come back. I love you, my family, my siblings, mama, my wife, society, readers, please. Just know I'm now a changed man, a positive man. I'm now a full Rwandese.
The spokesperson of the Rwanda Correctional Service, CSP Hilary Sengabo, has stated that the good conduct demonstrated by those who were released should also serve as a guide to those remaining in correctional facilities, noting that there are many opportunities like this that they too could benefit from.
The message is one, is that today we have at least executed ministerial and cabinet decision of releasing some inmates on conditional release. The procedure is that, first of all, you have to comply with the rules and regulations inside the prison, inside the facility, and also comply with the conduct. So the eligible inmates are awarded such a conditional release. So the message is that the remaining should also comply and behave well so that they can also benefit. According to the official message offered by Deputy Commissioner General DCG Rose Muhisoni, he said they should go and behave well in the community, and called upon the community as well to receive these people because they have been transformed and they are ready to be reintegrated. So let them be welcomed and let them behave well as released inmates so that they avoid recidivism. This is a rehabilitation center. This is a rehabilitation facility where they are given civil education, civic education, and also given some TVET programs, including tailoring, including construction, computer science, hairdressing. So these people who have been released on condition, they have got all those skills. So they are ready to go and occupy their activities and work for their families and the country as well.
A total of 1,874 were released from all 14 correctional facilities across the country, including 137 women and 5 children from Nyagatare Juvenile Correctional Facility. Among them are 222 inmates from Nyarugenge Correctional Facility who were released after demonstrating good conduct during their rehabilitation and meeting the legal requirements for provisional release. Those released had been serving sentences for offenses largely including theft, the use of forged documents, assault and causing bodily harm, as well as transporting, selling and using narcotic drugs. The most recent provisional release before this occurred in October 2024 when 2,017 inmates were released. Moving ahead, Rwandans living in countries in the Middle East have expressed appreciation for the way Rwanda's embassies in these countries have put in place effective channels for sharing information so that anyone who faces a problem can receive immediate assistance, especially at this time when conflict continues to be reported in that region of the world. And Gladys has more on the report.
Tani Rugigana is a Rwandan who has lived in Israel for some time, one of the countries that has been heavily affected by attacks coming from Iran since February 28th, when the United States and Israel carried out strikes in Iran, after which Iran began launching retaliatory attacks. Rwandans living in Israel appreciate the way the Embassy of Rwanda in that country has been keeping them informed about all the safety measures they should follow.
We are so okay. We are very extremely complying with the Home Front Command rules and regulations. It's a unit that instructs and guides nationals and foreigners on how they should conduct in such a period of war. And from Saturday when the war started, we've been experiencing complying with the rules and regulations here. And they are still, and they are doing the best they can or expected for the safety of Rwandans here. They are calling us on every basis. They are emphasizing us to follow Home Front Command rules. And everything, in any case, they are prepared for anything that may, but of which it won't, according to how we assess the situation.
Recent reports indicate that Iran launched missile and drone attacks targeting several Gulf countries, including the United Arab Emirates, as part of the escalating regional conflict. The Embassy of Rwanda in the United Arab Emirates has also confirmed that all Rwandans in the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain are safe. In particular, it asks Rwandans who are there for tourism and are unable to leave to register with the embassy so that they can receive the necessary assistance. Iran says it is targeting American interests in several countries in the Middle East region, including locations where U.S. military bases are situated. In Qatar as well, one of the countries affected by the conflict, Rwandans living there have said that they were afraid during the first days, but they are now safe. Eric Bahati is one of them. At first, we were very afraid during the first days when those missiles were fired at the American military bases. However, the government of Qatar continued to support us and provided guidelines on how we should behave. Some of us are currently working from home. We were also given instructions to avoid unnecessary travel and instead closely follow official government social media's accounts, including those of the Ministry of Interior.
Social media za leta zizewe harimo nka Ministry of Interior.
Rwanda's embassies in those countries in the Middle East say they are continuing to closely monitor the security situation in the region and have put in place all necessary channels for sharing information so that anyone who encounters a problem can receive immediate assistance. They advise Rwandans to follow the security guidelines issued by the relevant authorities in the countries where they are living. The Embassy of Rwanda in Qatar also announced that it is currently providing its services online until further notice.
At the 4th General Assembly of the Local Government Women's Network, girls and women have been encouraged to exercise their right to ensure that no woman or girl is excluded and to actively participate in leadership positions and elective posts as women remain underrepresented in these roles. Data collected by the Rwanda Association of Local Government Authorities since January this year shows that women are still few in both technical positions and elected roles, ranging from the level of the city of Kigali and district level down to the village level.
In the past, women would feel alone, but the local government women network is there to show them that, you know, you are not alone. We are there. Some of the members are seasoned leaders who have got a lot of experience to share, and sharing that experience to the young ladies is a step higher in motivating them to take on leadership in local government entities. In the meeting, they talked about the collaboration between RALGA and the Ministry of Gender and the internship program, where they select the best young graduates, ladies, and they take on a 6-month internship. So far, we've got around 900 who have gone into that internship, and the local government women network also participate into mentoring them, meeting them, talking to them, and also showing them that, you know, it's very interesting and fulfilling to work in the local government, where you work for the community and you notice the impact. And you know, all of us come from different villages. So the moment we complete our studies and we go back and work for our communities, it's also very gratifying because we know we are working for the community that contributed to raising us. So in a way, it's also partly giving back to the community.
One of the resolutions adopted during the General Assembly is that women serving in local government can be able to strengthen their performance while balancing their responsibilities as parents. They aim to serve as role models for other women who are still hesitant to seek such positions, demonstrating that leadership as women is not difficult. Moving ahead, research conducted by the Institute of Policy Analysis and Research, Rwanda, shows that Rwanda still needs to increase investment in infrastructure for technical and vocational education and training schools so that graduates' skills better match the demands of the labor market. We have more.
For some young people, vocational training has already opened doors to employment opportunities. Their experiences reflect how practical skills gained through TVET can help young people prepare for the job market. The Rwanda Country Report on Building TVET Systems for Economic Transformation highlights the growing role of vocational training in preparing young people with practical skills needed in the labor market. The research by IPA Rwanda shows that 70% of students graduating from TVET schools find employment within 3 months, while others secure jobs shortly afterwards. The executive director of IPA Rwanda explains the key findings of the research conducted by the institution.
We are moving to the fourth industrial revolution. We are moving to a place of technology. We are moving to AI, and we look at the infrastructure that we're using in our TVET schools. It needs some, rethinking. We need to invest a lot in it. And then capacity of our teachers. We need to look at that capacity of our teachers. They need strong skills. They need to be trained. And then the quality of our curriculum.
The study also indicates that about 1.15 million young people, representing 32.9%, are neither employed, in school, nor in training. However, some private sector actors have started partnering with the government to support the development of this sector. Dr. Edward Brown, Senior Director for Research, Policy and Programs at the African Center for Economic Transformation, explains what should follow after the findings of this research.
So these structural issues need intentional efforts from the government as well as from the private sector. So we are here today to engage in that conversation and to ensure that the government and the other stakeholders will take this on as they move along. The next step is particularly now that the research has been done and the report has been published, conversations are going on to look at the next steps in terms of how the government can support more strategically, focusing intentionally on addressing the structural gaps.
One of the major challenges highlighted in the research is the lack of modern equipment required for training in Tibet schools, with much of the existing equipment considered outdated. Rose Baguma, Head of Education Policy Department at the Ministry of Education, notes that the government is working to distribute resources across the education sector, including vocational training institutions.
The issue of infrastructure in Tibet is something that we are working on as Ministry of Education, because as we increase access to Tibet, remember the government's target is to get to 60% of students who join Tibet. So we keep on increasing and improving infrastructure, including classrooms, the workshops, the smart classrooms. So every year we increase those infrastructure to make sure that it's not just access, but also increasing the quality of education for children who are joining Tibet schools.
The Rwanda-Tibet board reports that enrollment in Tibet programs has increased to 43%, up from 31% in 2022. The country aims to raise this figure to 60% as part of efforts to strengthen skills development and employment opportunities.
Organizations representing persons with disabilities in Rwanda, as well as the Muslim community in the country, have stressed that providing vocational and technical training to persons with disabilities helps them transform their lives and become self-reliant instead of depending on others. This was highlighted during an event where certificates and work equipment were handed over to persons with disabilities who had completed training in various trades to help them improve their livelihoods. Short-term courses, including tailoring, soap making, and hairdressing, are among the skills that some persons with disabilities have been trained in. Having also received the equipment needed to start their own activities, they say the knowledge they have gained will help them improve their livelihoods and create jobs for others. The executive director of the Rwanda Union of the Blind, Jacques Mugisha, has noted that some programs help persons with disabilities access employment opportunities and contribute to the development of their families and the country. The Mufti of Rwanda, Sheikh Musa Sindaigaya, who is also the outgoing head of the Mohammed VI Foundation in Rwanda, urged those who received the training and equipment to make good use of them so that they can improve their lives. During this initiative, the Rwanda Muslim community, in partnership with the Mohammed VI Foundation, trained 31 persons with disabilities from the Eastern, Western and Northern provinces. Statistics from research conducted by the National Council of Persons with Disabilities in June 2025 show that overall 145,362 persons with disabilities, representing 25.8%, are employed because they have received education. However, more than 317,360 people, representing 56.4%, including both those who studied and those who did not, remain without employment. Moving ahead, Rwandan and refugee students enrolled in 3 model technical and vocational education and training schools in Kirehe and Gicumbi districts say the high quality of practical education they receive is enabling them to innovate and even start their own businesses while still in school. The project manager of the Jambere under the ministry in charge of emergency management, Frank Ngoga, says the skills acquired by both Rwandan and refugee students empower them to become self-reliant and promote social cohesion.
It is a World Bank funded project through the government of Rwanda, of course under the ministry in charge of emergency management. The project cost is 84.4 million, equivalent to 123 billion in Rwandan francs. So the project started 13th August 2019. It is ending in this October 30th 2026. It is operational in 6 hosting districts of Kirehe that hosts Mahama refugee camp, Gatsibo that hosts Nyabeke refugee camp, and Gicumbi that had Gihembe refugee camp. They later relocated to Mahama refugee camp, but activities are still taking place because the project has not been closed. We have also Nyamagabe that hosts Chijeme refugee camp, Gisagara that has Mugomba refugee camp, and Karongi district that has Kiziba refugee camp. The project constructed this Musaza TVET and Bukora TVET in Kirehe, plus GT TVET in Gicumbi district, Gituza TVET in Gatsibo district, Mobuga TVET in Karongi district. So we have had a chance of these TVETs or technical secondary schools where students have got chance of learning masonry courses, building construction, electrical engineering, computer science, and many trades that are being involved through within these technical secondary schools. All of this project in providing matching grant, it is aimed at supporting both refugees and host communities in accessing those funds so as to get into a self-reliance. That's the main objective.
The 3 schools were constructed at a total cost of approximately 10 billion Rwandan francs, including the equipment. Moving ahead, the recent increase in the central bank rate is expected to influence investment products such as bonds, fixed deposits, and unit trusts, potentially shaping how investors and savers make financial decisions. Our colleague William Evans Mutabazi spoke with Darius Mukiza, head of business development at BK Capital, about what the changes mean and how investors can adapt.
For someone that may not really have that depth, that financial literacy, they're not really so deep into economics and stuff, but they at least have heard around that the central bank has risen its central bank rate by 50 points. In terms of their behavior, especially the people that are investing and saving, in terms of their behavior, what sort of needed adjustments should they be doing right now?
Yeah, so basically when those rates, like when they say first, normally the rates they talk about is the interest rate, they talk about the inflation rate, and they talk about the lending rate. So normally, let's say if the interest rate, they say it is at 8% for a year. That means the goods which are being purchased, the general price of goods has increased by 8%, meaning the things you are buying now, the price has increased maybe by 8%, which means if you're saving, you should be getting a rate which is higher than 8%. Otherwise, the return you're getting might not be enough to help you buy the things you are buying before. So when you are saving, you're looking for a rate which is higher than the interest, the inflation rate probably. If the interest rates is let's say 10% for a treasury bill, you want to at least get that or an interest higher because you assumed this is the minimum risk investment which is there, it's 8%. So if you're putting in some work, you should get more. When they say lending rate, that means the central bank is lending to the banks at this rate. So when you go to borrow money from the bank, you expect the bank to give you to lend to you slightly higher than that rate. So when the lending rate goes up, the banks will lend you at least higher. When it goes down, the banks reduce. So you cannot, that in your mind, when these rates are changing, if they are changing the lending rate, either higher, you expect, if you're doing business and you're going to the bank to borrow, you expect the bank to at least give you some, to lend to you at a rate higher than the lending rate. So that the bank are normally given a range, lower and this is the baseline where to begin from. So depending on now the demand for this money in the banks, if more people are demanding money, the banks also increase because it's like it's first, you know, that's business. So those rates affect your day-to-day financial plans, saving plans. So when you go to the fund manager, you ask them, okay, this is where the return of the fund is. So what's the inflation rate? Are you measuring yourself with the rate? Are you measuring yourself with the benchmark? And you look at those three. So if I'm giving you, if you're saving with me, and I'm earning you an interest which is lower than the inflation rate, then you're losing. If you're earning money which is above the inflation rate and maybe the TB rate, at least you're earning something on your money. Because money, when it is kept, by the time you need it, it should be able to purchase for you things it would have purchased for you at that time. Like if you save money and you want to buy, let's say, a pen, and by the time you get the money, now the money can't buy this pen. That means your money has lost value. So that is how the inflation affects your money. You get, yeah.
And on that note, we've come to the end of tonight's English Bulletin. Thank you for sticking with us. And on behalf of the news production team as well as the technical team, we will see you next time. Have a safe time and good night.